Ever feel like life throws you a curveball you just weren't expecting? Like one of those moments where you think, what if things had gone differently?
Definitely.
Well, that's what we're diving deep into today.
Okay.
With Liane Moriarty's Here for One Moment.
Oh, interesting.
It's a novel that really throws some thought-provoking curveballs at its characters.
I like her.
And Moriarty, she's a global best-selling author,
Right.
known for these really captivating stories centered around everyday people facing these extraordinary situations.
Yeah.
And we're going to unpack how she does that. These relatable characters with these really crazy what-if scenarios that take readers on a bit of a roller coaster ride of emotion.
Oh, wow.
And make you think in new ways.
Yeah, and I think what's so fascinating about this article is it's not just praising Moriarty's, skill as a writer.
Yeah.
It goes beyond that. It digs into this really interesting concept that the reviewer calls cosmic symmetry.
Cosmic symmetry.
Yeah.
What is that?
So it's this idea that even when characters face really difficult things, injustices, hardships, there's this underlying sense that things have a way of balancing out, that there's some kind of order there.
So like even amidst the chaos, there's an order, a sense of justice that I think resonates with a lot of readers.
Definitely. And on a deeper level, I think it almost makes you feel better in a way.
Yeah, like there's some comfort there.
Yeah, the sense of comfort. Yeah. This belief that even though life can be so unpredictable, there's this order to it all, even if we don't always see it.
Right, and that's definitely at play. Here for One Moment.
And the premise itself is wild.
It's a wild premise.
A good one?
So picture this.
Okay.
You're on a plane.
Okay.
And the woman next to you starts predicting everyone's deaths.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Just out of the blue.
Wow.
That's the setup.
I'm hooked already.
I know, right?
It's a brilliant way to start a story.
It's such a good hook.
It really pulls you in.
And it makes you think about your own mortality, too.
For sure.
Like, how would you react?
Yeah.
And the characters all react in these really different ways.
Right.
You've got Paula, who's just consumed by this fear of her son drowning.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Allegra's grappling with these anxieties about self-harm. And then there's Sue, who's just trying to enjoy her retirement.
Right.
And now she's hit with this possibility of pancreatic cancer.
And that's what Moriarty does so well, right?
Yeah.
She takes these huge what-ifs and makes them feel so relatable.
Exactly.
Because we all have these fears, right?
Right, like, what if I run out of time?
Exactly.
What if this happens?
Yeah, all those what-ifs that keep us up at night.
Yeah, and she just brings them to life in these characters.
And she's not afraid to really go there with the character's inner thoughts and feelings.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the reviewer talks about her ability to get into the interior lives of her characters, which is so important. We're not just watching these things happen from a distance.
It's so true.
We get to be inside their heads.
Yes.
Experiencing those doubts, those fears, those hopes right along with them.
It's so true. And I think that's what makes you feel so connected to them while you're reading.
You're invested.
Yeah.
You're not just watching a story. You're there with them.
And it makes it so much more powerful because of that.
Yes. And she's not shying away from these tough issues either.
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
Like the article mentions this rule that Moriarty seems to have in her writing.
Yeah.
It says, thou shalt not abuse women.
Right. Like it's a recurring thing in her books.
Yeah, it's a theme that pops up.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see how she handles it differently in Here for One Moment compared to her other novels.
Yeah, like the reviewer talks about how in earlier books, the punishment for abusers was often very direct.
Like in your face?
Like really in your face.
Yeah.
You think about Stan Delaney from Apples Never Fall.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That was rough.
It was, but in this book, it's more nuanced, I think.
Okay.
Like she explores the fear of becoming an abuser.
Oh, okay. How so?
Well, you've got Dom.
Oh,
he's completely in love with Eve.
Okay.
But he's terrified of hurting her.
Oh, wow.
Especially in his sleep.
In his sleep.
Yeah, he's even handcuffing himself to the bed.
Oh, my God.
Because he's so scared.
That's heartbreaking.
It is.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's not like he's a straightforward villain.
Right.
He's struggling.
Yeah.
He's trying to be a good person.
But he's afraid of himself.
Exactly. And I think that adds this whole other layer to how we see abuse and control.
Yeah. It's not black and white.
No.
It's complication.
It is, and it makes you think about this idea of free will versus determinism.
Oh, okay.
Like, if someone like Dom is predisposed to violence, can he actually escape that?
Right.
Or is he destined to repeat that cycle?
Oh, that's a big question.
It is.
And that's what's at the heart of this book.
Yeah, like, do we really control our destiny?
Right.
Or are we bound by something we don't understand?
And that goes back to the Death Lady's prediction.
Exactly.
Because if someone told you how you were going to die,
yeah,
wouldn't that make you question your own free will?
Oh, 100%.
Like, would you try to cheat fate?
Yeah. Would you even be able to?
Or would you accept it as inevitable?
That's a lot to process.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It really makes you think. It really does. And that's a question that just stays with the characters the whole time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like you see it with Sue.
Yeah.
When she gets that diagnosis. It's like she realizes she's been living on autopilot.
Oh.
Putting off her own happiness.
Oh, no.
So then it's not just the fear of doing,
Right.
It's also the regret
Yeah.
of not really living.
And that hits home for so many people, I think.
Oh, for sure.
It's like that feeling of being stuck on a hamster wheel.
Right, like she says.
Yes. You get so caught up in just going through the motions.
Yeah, just going and...
that you forget to actually savor anything.
Exactly.
Or go after what you really want.
And that's Moriarty, right?
Yeah.
She's not just telling a story.
She's making you look inward.
Yeah, she's holding up this mirror.
Yes.
To our own lives and our own fears.
To our own fears of waking up one day.
Yeah, and realizing you haven't really lived.
It's powerful stuff.
It is. And the reviewer really gets that.
Okay.
Like they talk about how Moriarty just taps into these universal anxieties.
Right.
It's why her stories resonate so much.
Even when the scenarios are totally out there.
Yeah, even then, because it's still about being human.
Right.
It's how we react to the unthinkable.
Yeah, like what would you do?
Exactly. And that's a big part of why her books have been so popular.
Yeah, for sure.
And you see it with the shows, too.
Oh, yeah, like Big Little Lies.
Yes. Yeah. And 9 Perfect Strangers.
It seems like everyone was watching those.
They were everywhere.
And they definitely captured that Moriarty style.
Right, like the drama, the intrigue.
Yes. But there's something different about reading her books.
Oh, absolutely.
Would you agree?
100%. The article mentions this, too.
Okay, what do they say?
They talk about how Moriarty is amazing at showing the characters' inner worlds.
Yes, like their thoughts.
Yeah, all those little things that might not translate to the screen.
And when you're reading it,
yeah,
you're right there in their head.
Exactly.
Experiencing every little thing.
You get every doubt.
Every hope.
Every feel.
It's like you know them so well. It's such a unique experience.
It really draws you in.
And I think that's why you just can't put the book down.
It's so true.
You have to see what happens.
You need to know.
But you also just want to stay in that world with those characters.
It's so well written.
It is.
Yeah.
And you know what else?
What's that?
Even though she's dealing with these dark themes.
Yeah. Death, fate.
Right? Like heavy stuff.
Yeah. It's a lot.
There's still this sense of hopefulness.
Yes. You're right. It's like an undercurrent throughout her stories.
Would you agree?
Absolutely. Like, life is messy.
Oh, yeah.
Unpredictable, even.
For sure.
But there's also beauty.
Yeah.
Connection, even when things are hard.
It's that glimmer in the darkness.
Exactly.
It's not always easy breezy, right?
Yeah.
But there's that feeling that even when things go wrong,
yeah,
there's a way through it.
You keep going.
You keep going.
You come out stronger.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes her endings work so well.
Right, even when they're not,
tied up perfectly.
Yeah, not all wrapped up in a bow.
Right, like life isn't always like that.
Exactly. And the reviewer even says that the whole mystery of the Death Lady's predictions, like whether they happen or not, it becomes less important than the journey the characters go through.
Wow. So it's not about this predetermined fate.
Right. It's about how they choose to live with that knowledge.
With knowing what might happen.
Exactly.
It's like Moriarty's telling us, here's this curveball.
Right.
This peek into the future.
Okay.
But what really matters is how you handle it.
It's the journey, not just the destination.
Yes. And that takes us right back to that question that both the book and this steep dive are trying to get at.
What's that?
How would you react?
It's a big one.
What if you knew?
Oh, man.
Would you try to change things?
Or would you embrace it?
It makes you think about all those what ifs in your own life.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Like, what would I do differently?
Would you finally book that trip?
Oh, for sure.
Tell someone how you feel.
Life's too short, right?
It really makes you realize that all we have is right now.
Exactly. We can't bank on someday.
It's a good reminder that life is precious.
It is.
They don't have forever.
And we don't get a death lady to give us a heads up.
That's true. But Moriarty gives us the next best thing.
She does, doesn't she? Makes you think.
Her books really make you appreciate each moment.
Yeah, and the people in our lives.
So if you're looking for a book that will stay with you,
one that makes you really think,
and maybe even make some changes in your own life,
then Here for One Moment might be the one.
I think that's a great place to leave it.
I agree. What a great discussion.
Until next time.